The Druid Circle of the Shepherd's primary strength is summoning creatures and enhancing their entire party. I talked to Mike Merles about this latest subclass in Xanathar's Guide to Everything.
So the Circle of the Shepherd focuses on animals, and specifically like in their role as a druid are animals that can't otherwise defend themselves. Animals that would normally might be prey for a predator or hunters and so forth. So that's what their kind of role is compared to a druid Circle of the Moon, which is more about bringing out like the animal within, or Circle of the Land, who's about protecting the land itself. And the interesting thing about Circle of the Shepherd is it's very good at summoning creatures. And beasts that they summon get a few buffs, and they also have an ability to bring out totems, to summon a totem creature, which is essentially a spirit. It's not a creature that fights, but it instead creates an aura around itself that can buff your allies. And that also extends, they have some abilities to allow their summoned creatures to get some healing each round and things like that from a similar type, from the totem type thing. And so the idea is really it's the druid that you could imagine is wandering around through the forest or any other wild area, and they have like rabbits following them and birds and things like that. And so this idea is they have a very strong connection to the creatures of nature, as opposed to the Circle of the Land's connection to the land itself. I mean, obviously, if you're summoning creatures with spells and having them attack, the idea isn't that you're not pulling some creature from it's just like this bear just hanging out in the woods. Now you've pulled it through. It's more this idea of using your magic to create a creature that is a representation of what a bear is or what a fey creature is and things like that. So you're kind of turning animals against your enemies or against people who would despoil the natural world.
But there's no ethical concern there for.
No, yeah, right. No, it's something that comes up because obviously, what you'll see a lot of times, people will do things like, and I've been there, right? Like, okay, we're in this trap-filled dungeon. Well, summon, a creature and have it just walk back and forth down the hallway and see what it triggers, right? Things like that. So no, the idea is it is a creature in the sense like, it can bleed, it can have spells cast on it and stuff like that. But it's a representation of a creature rather than the creature itself. You're not opening a portal and pulling a bear from the forest and throwing it into combat. Because these things, as long as the magic spell's active, they obey your commands. They're things that you've created. Typically, there are some, like the planar binding spells are more about, like, you actually speak to a creature from the outer planes. But those spells also require you to try to find a way to control the creature or bargain with it to bring it over to your service. And that's a big difference. Like, so if you just summon a creature and just shows up and does whatever you want, it's either mindless, like an elemental, or effectively mindless. Or it's this sort of idea, it is a creature, but it's really just a magical representation of the creature that's brought into and made flesh. If you have to convince the creature to serve you, then that's more in the realm of you've actually called a creature and it has traveled through the planes, and now you're trying to control it, compel it, or whatever you might be trying to do. This druid's a little bit like the Circle of the Land druid, that they're a little bit more of a spellcaster, because they get some class features that augment their summons. Like, for instance, beasts they summon have more hit points than normal. They also are a little bit more supportive because they can conjure that totem that appears and can grant a buff to their allies. So they're a little bit like Circle of the Land, but rather than being focused on general spellcasting, they're a little bit more focused on providing party support.
You can find the Druid Circle of the Shepherd in Xanathar's Guide to Everything. That book is available for purchase on dndbeyond.com, and if you follow the link in this video description, you can earn pre-order bonuses as well. I'm Todd Henrik. Thank you for watching.